Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. It's already the 21st of October, 2024. How time just like whizzes on. Me and Mr. B have been told off by Yabba before the show starts, which we'll get on to in a minute. But first of all, Mr. B, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I purpose. This is my. I really look forward to our Monday, amateur football review, and this one's gonna be a good one. I know this one's gonna be a good one. So yeah, I'm all smiles. Look, Man United won. There's no, well, I say there's no negativity in the press. There's always some sort of negativity in the press, but I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Nothing beats a Man United win. I haven't had that feeling in a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna milk it and I'm gonna enjoy it for the next couple of days.
Yeah, it does feel like we haven't won for like years, and we finally got one to hang on to. We've also got some utterly ridiculous stories tonight that we're going to discuss them. But I don't want any of you having a go at us for making stuff up. They are ridiculous, but quite amusing. I watched a horror film this weekend, but Yabba, I believe you were part of one, weren't you?
Yeah. Greetings, Bartline. Greetings, Mr. B. Amateur football. Obviously, we play every week. Big up to Matty as well, and everyone else who wants to contribute. Let us know how they got on as well. But this week wasn't a good week for our club. We lost badly. Lost 7-1 on a really terrible pitch. But the performance was really bad and lost shape, and there's no leaders. I started off in goal, but I left my boots at the ground last week. I only realised this Sunday morning, and I had to play trainers, but it was so slushy. I was slipping all over the place. So after 5 minutes, I had to change the goalkeeper, and then we had a makeshift side kind of because it was a cup game. We thought we could this opportunity to get players who are fringe players, and it didn't go too well at all. We were really poor, and it's just what's really frustrating for me is as a manager, manager's supposed to give instruction, and players supposed to take it on board and respect that and follow lead. And there's always something. What we're finding now that when they lose, they find an excuse. They don't take accountability for their own game. Like I was saying the other day, when I play football all my life, I think about it the whole week. I'm thinking about how I played, what I did wrong. The good things, yeah, that's fine. But if I give the ball away, it will stay in my head. Why did I give the ball away? What happened there? I take responsibility for keeping the ball, and I take pride in that. You'll find I very rarely give a pass away or get a key or give the ball away because it's in my mind. I'm conscious not to do those things, but I don't see the same people having that same accountability. And I think if you did, then you're better working your game and decide and understand how to keep the ball and how to, as a team, play better. You know, and individuals are not doing that. It's a team game. It's not an individual sport. You have to come together and have instruction and listen. So the shape was all over the place. I told them what to do to fix it. They couldn't. By the end of the game, I was watching, like, everything was just so stretched. Everything was just all over the place. And we got completely buried, and it's sometimes a good thing to take licks like that because it starts discussions and everything. But we got a group chat, and I'm watching a group chat discussion. Don't get involved. I just listen to it. I'm just like, wow. You know, it's people need to take accountability for the thing. That's the first thing you need to do as a footballer, and ownership. And don't point fingers or blame everything. You know, don't say it's the formation. You know, as we know, formations don't really mean anything, really, do they? It's about how you come together and how you organise. And when you don't do that, you're all over the place. So I'm really disappointed. This is the trials and tribulations you have when you're involved in football like this. It's like getting a band to play on tune. It's very difficult to do. You have to have practice in the studio time and over again. Take 10, and again. And people are like, oh God, until you get it right. But when you don't train or when you just turn up and you've got different players and everything else, you can't expect the magic to happen. So do
you think that's about your level that you're playing at, Yabba, where like people, it's that mentality is something that appears to be very common right at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, it is, because you've got players, like, I'm not trying to say but I've got an understanding of football. I've played at a high level. I don't tell them this. I'm not trying to say anything, but I want to, explain how things are done. I've made an effort last season to, go into detail, tactics, everything else. Deaf ears. They don't want to hear it, And now they think they know it better than themselves. But I think you've got to have respect. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've got to have respect. All right, boss. Yeah, take on board, for have one voice and thing. But it's very difficult. It's really difficult. It's a challenging job because especially when remember Glenn Hoddle was when he was manager. He always found it frustrating that people couldn't do the drill like he wanted it to be done. I remember him pulling up Beckham and saying, "No, Beckham, not like that. This is how you do it." And he could go and do it himself, But that's the problem, because you can't do that with players, because they got an ego, and you can't. It's hard to sort of say to them, "Look, this is how it's done," Glenn Hoddle had a problem with that, and I think I do too. I think I've got a bit of a problem with that, because I don't want to call anyone out or say anything. I want to be positive about things, but yeah, it's a very difficult time. But we've had a few good games before that. Hopefully, we get back on it. And this is just, I really enjoy it, and I hope the boys enjoy it, and hopefully we can get back on track. But it's just, once you lose, you go through a lot of, emotion.
A healing process.
Yeah, it's a whole healing process. So get it together, and by next Sunday, hopefully we can get our shit together.
It's awful, isn't it? It's awful after a big loss. Mr. B, you're a superstar manager. I assume you had an easy weekend.
I didn't have a game. My game was called off. I think the opposition have seen our results and decided that if they ain't coming with a full strength team, they ain't coming. So no, I didn't have a game this week. I sat down in my house, watched the Brentford game on a feed that skipped every 5.5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I've seemed to have worked out what the issue is. So hopefully come Thursday there will be a watch along. But I'm glad.
No way.
I'm glad I didn't choose to do a watch along, because it was terrible. It was really, really. I know they're doing their bits and pieces, whatever they're doing out there in the ether to try and stop people doing what they're doing. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I think I found a way. So come Thursday, it should be good. But bath time before I go into my Brentford happiness. How was your Sunday? I know you were getting blown from pillar to post. Did you manage to get a game on?
It was wild. Like, our game was off, but the weather was absolutely wild. Like, I went out on Saturday night to watch Smile 2, which I didn't enjoy. And on the way back, it was like, are you seeing like that Harry Potter film where they're all like, the cars all fly and things? It was like that. It was like wind everywhere. I felt that I was like, it was like that I was going to end up in Kansas, like the Wizard of Oz or something.
Dorothy and the dog.
Yeah. Toto. Or is it Tonto? I can't remember. Toto. But then on Sunday, it was just a day where I couldn't get out of the house. You had a couple of power cuts. It was pretty wild, the weather, to be honest. I've seen some stuff on social media of what people were seeing, and it was very, very similar. I just had a cozy day in, watched a couple of films. I quite enjoyed it, but I would have loved to have played football, to be honest. I hate it when a game gets called off. But yeah, it was all right. And since, as the listeners will be gathering, there isn't a huge amount of news, let me know if you want a Smile 2 review. Because we're going to find out what Mr. B thought of the Brentford game, and then we're going to go through your comments.
Let's go through the comments first, to be fair. They've been here sitting quietly watching us waffle for 10 minutes. All
right, well, Andrew has started off with already sort of...
his positivity.
Do you know what, right? During the Brentford game, I put a tweet up at half-time. I can't even remember what it was. It was probably something to do with Garnacho. And I found Andrew arguing with someone in my mentions. I checked their profile. The person Andrew was arguing with was at most 13. So I sent Andrew a message saying, please stop arguing with 13-year-olds. And then for the rest of the day, I kept getting messages from Andrew about what he thought of the game. I had my own live Andrew Williams watch-along. It was really fun. Right, we've got Bart in. Hello, all. Do you have any plans for inviting Andy Tate on anytime soon?
No, to be fair, he's doing his own thing, and when he's available, then he will be available.
Yeah. We got Chat Sports saying good evening. We got Bilal, big up the Man United agenda and chat. I've been laughing a lot about the haunting of Chorluka. Bilal, I think that's one of the funniest things I've read. Apparently, if you want to see Andy Tate, you can find him on Adam from FUTV, but he swears a lot. And someone who swears a lot that we really like is Stuart Marshall. I hope you're doing well, Stuart. We've got Simon Warner. Good evening to the three just men. I hope you had a good weekend. Three just men. Is that just for men? Whatever.
Praise. Yeah, it could be. But the fact that Dora's not here.
Yeah. And we've got Matty Bassett. Matty, I want to know how you got on with your football over the weekend. And I suppose for people that are watching that don't play football, do any of you go to see like local teams play? Like if you've got a local non-league team or something, it's always good to go and see live football. Simon, 4 London clubs lost. Best one was Bournemouth beating Arsenal. Let's all have a good laugh at them. No. We're not in a position to laugh at anyone at the moment.
I still have to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think it was a red card?
Yeah, 100%. But they're not going to lose much games. So the games that they lose, I'm going to enjoy giving it to them.
Yeah. I suppose it's a London thing. Right, this is good. Did you watch Liverpool-Chelsea?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Very impressed with both sides. When you look at Chelsea, they've got so many players on their bench is strong, and they're all players that are going to get better, I believe. They brought in a left-back Portuguese guy who I felt they should have started with, big lump, big unit. Can't remember his name, but he looked like the Weekend.
Viega. Raymond Viega.
Yeah, him, yeah. He looked like...
is that the big guy with the hair? He looked about 9
Tom
foot.
Hoddleston.
Yeah. Big guy, but he's left back. He played left back. He can play centre back as well. But I was really surprised by Chelsea. They're 2 centre midfielders, the double pivot of the guy from Southampton and Salcido. Lavia and Salcido. I think Lavia is very good. And then they brought in Enzo as well. They've got a good, strong side. And I was comparing them. I was thinking they're maybe slightly ahead of us at the moment. And the talent they have, Makawui, whatever his name is, the winger, left-footed guy, he's a terror. I would hate to be up against him. And obviously Cole Palmer doing the business as well. But fortunately they lost. I think it's to do with Levi Coolwell. As a centre-back, I was watching him. I thought he was really poor. I've seen him play at levels, and at each level he's been good. Even with the youth under 21s, or whoever he played with recently last season, he was the main man in that tournament. But I've watched him a few times. Yeah, watched him a few times at senior level now. I don't think quite cuts it at centre-back. It's too much responsibility. And he's too error prone. He's not ready yet, not strong enough, not wise enough. I think that's a player that could let them down. If Chelsea are going to push on, they need to fix that problem there, because I don't think their centre backs are good enough. Especially,
yeah, I thought Tosin was really poor.
Yeah, really
but
poor as well.
Do you know what scared me about that game, Yabba? I began to dream that maybe top 4 isn't out of the question after the Brentford game. We were like 4 points, 3 points behind the top 4. I look at Chelsea, I look at Liverpool, look at Arsenal, look at Man City. They're going to be miles ahead of us over the course of the season. It was a great game of football. I really enjoyed watching McAllister just beating people up when he came on. I found that very funny. But it was kind of a wake-up call, about that we are a long way behind at the moment. There's a lot of work to be done, isn't it?
Credit to the Premier League. Regardless, I know we're in a down situation, but isn't it good to have a Premier League where it's very competitive? It's not just top 2 now. There's a lot of sides who are pretty good. and I think that's fair. That you need to up the stakes and make it harder competition. And if we are, so any improvements we do make, we know we're going to earn it.
Yeah. All right. Simon, we've got this story. We're going to be talking about it a little later. Bart, he's a serious fan, and he's asking a serious question about a different sport. Did Yabba play cricket when he was younger?
I did, yes.
Yeah, any good?
Yeah, very good. If you ask me, it's about. I'm very good at cricket. I'll give you. Do you want us to hear a story quickly?
Yeah, why not?
It's boosted my head up. I'll tell you a very good story. Like, I played as a kid because of the West Indies thing. It's always been part of the culture to play cricket. And you think being my height, I'd be a good bowler, but I'd bowl a medium pace. I can't bowl fast, so you just go west. But anyway, I didn't play for a number of years, stopped playing. I was all into football. And I think when in my mid-20s, there's a charity game. Mr. B, there's a charity game. We were playing down at Southall Cricket Club. And they needed, I was middle order, whatever. I didn't, they needed something like 50 in the overs that was left over. So I've come in and wickets are dropping all over. Got myself in, played myself in, and I got to about whatever they need. They need about 70. I hit about 40 runs off so many balls. I was square drive, bam, cover drive, bam, 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 hitting the ball all around the park, and I had my eye in. And once I'm in, I was cool. And then with the last ball, we needed 6 off the last ball to actually win. And at this point, you imagine the crowd, everyone was going mad. And yeah, the guy bowled like a spin ball, and I was finding it hard to read, clapped it over the boundary for the win. So and that got me to 49 or whatever it was. Didn't quite get my 50, but that just shows you once you got it, you never leave it. And it's all about. So like I say, it's all about understanding the game. Like I was telling you about goalkeeper, if you learn it and understand what it takes, like learning to bat, straight bat, like playing snooker, for example. I'm not the best snooker player, but I try to model my technique on Steve Davis. The technique is everything. The technique is everything. And he's always straight and make sure your elbows are straight. It's technique, the fundamentals. I watched Anthony Yard box the other day. Anthony Yard's a knockout artist. Trying to play a fighter. But he lacks the fundamentals, which is why he's probably at a level and can't go any further because he lacks the fundamentals. Fundamentals are the most important thing of any sport, whether it's cricket, tennis, backhand, your stroke, everything's about fundamentals, and it's really important. So yeah, cricket, I'm a quite good bat.
That's all great, Yabba, but one of the fundamentals is bringing your boots. Like you can't sit there talking about fundamentals of goalkeeping. Yeah.
So
the funny thing is, everyone says, go on.
Are you one of those players who doesn't clean their boots after a game?
They were quite clean from last week.
That's not what I asked.
Yes, I am. But if they're really bad, I'll get my dubbing out and wash them.
Well, you don't clean them after a game.
I get the dubbing out. If they're really in a bad state, I will wash them.
No, but it doesn't matter. After every game, you've got to wipe them down, man.
Sometimes they don't need cleaning.
Yeah, but that's the whole
point. They always
need cleaning. It's routine.
No.
Of course. What do you learn?
Do you find people then, Mr. B? Do you find your players?
No, it's just pride. I look at their boots, and from when I'm going, I don't have to find them.
Looking at a man's shoes.
No, but it's appearance. Yes, it's appearance. Okay. I don't want man going out there with woolly hat, gloves. Yeah. I'm not going to lie about hat, but gloves because I wear gloves. I'm on the side.
Cycling shorts.
They can wear cycling shorts. Okay. They can even wear their long. Yeah, they can wear their long ones as long as they've got their blue socks. They can wear their tights, but guess what? Yeah. Their socks need to be pulled up.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can wear. You don't want to go out there with a snud.
Do you wash your kit? Do you wash their kit for them?
I'm the kit washer. Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure that it's done.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, so the funny thing is, we turned up. I was going to go and goal, and I said, "Oh man, I couldn't find my boots." It's like, so I played 5 minutes, realized I was slipping all over the place, had to come off. And then their manager said, "Don't worry, just go to the clubhouse. We've got a lost and found thing up there. I'm sure you'll find your size." And I said, "I'm a size 15. It's impossible." I mean, the chances of that, So
So your team are trying to defend, and you're pissing about in the lost and found, looking for clown shoes.
Yeah, honestly, it was so. I was slipping all over the place with my AstroTurfs on. But anyway, let's move on.
London? Was it really windy in London as well?
It was a bit, wasn't it? Mr. B
wet.
probably bits Sunday.
Just wet, get lost.
It was windy and wet. It was windy
just
and wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Levy, do you remember here? What are you doing?
Sorry, I was trying to star it and I ended up pressing the button. Sorry.
Honestly, this
Levi.
is like, Levi was the one that killed England in that Greece game. I didn't see that. Do you think that this, with like, I wouldn't say that Levy has sort of like dropped down levels or whatever, but does he kind of make you rethink Jared Branthwaite as a target, who's had maybe maybe half a good season in the Premier League, is valued at 70 million. Colwell 2 years ago was in exactly the same position.
Mr. B, you want some of that?
It could be. I mean, he's been injured, so I was looking forward to seeing him play for Everton. He's been injured, so he's in now. I'm expecting to see some £70 million performances from him, because I'm convinced we're going to go back in for him again anyway.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think with centre backs, you can't expect them to be master the game at 2021. Very rare. I mean, Saliba, you look at Saliba now. Saliba's very composed beyond his years, and it's really surprising because at his age, you don't expect him to have that experience and composure.
He's had a lot of football, though.
Yeah, he has, definitely. But when you're looking, so I'm not damning Levi Caldwell or Branthwaite or whatever, but you need to get to like 27, 28 to really harden yourself and learn the game. When you look at someone like Tyrone Mings, he's got into the Premiership a bit later. He's at Ipswich and smaller clubs, and he had to tough it out and appreciate it more. Steve Bruce, another one who was at Norwich and lower clubs, toughen it out, get that tough experience, learn the game, and then he became a good player once he stepped up. It's very hard for young centre backs to make it in this when you haven't got the physicals or experience.
Yeah, I think Rio wasn't a great defender at West Ham or at Leeds. He had to it's only John Terry, I think, that came into the game at a young age.
Last time you mentioned Don Terry, we didn't see you for 5 days. Do it again. Do it again, and you'll be off for another 5.
Is that right? That's got nothing to do with poor organisation. It was because I mentioned John Terry.
A bit of both.
The best European centre back.
Yeah, I stand by it.
Yeah,
I don't stand by this though. V is saying he hopes Yoro stays clear of all the wannabe whacks in Manchester. Don't want another young player being ruined by a woman. Ferguson was a huge fan of getting his players in relationships as quickly as possible and married as quickly as possible. Stable family life is very important.
Yeah, but so in your oats, bruv. So, you get married and then want to still sow your oats and get divorced. What's the point?
Well, look, I just want to see good performances on the pitch. And if they're sowing their oats or whatever, I don't care. Anyone see the kudos red? A lot of red cards this weekend. I think there were 5. The kudos one was very funny though. He was taking out 3 men.
Yeah, he was proper gone.
Has your head ever gone, Mr. B, in a match like that?
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and deny it. Yes, yeah. Even now, as a manager, I still have to hold it. Sometimes I want to go on the pitch with my boots flying, but you have to sit back and let the ref deal with it. Thinking, yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't want to have been managing me now.
Yeah.
I was nuts.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. I couldn't disagree more with this. The kit shouldn't be washed by management. It should be designated to whomever performs the worst each week.
I can answer that.
Look, the player that performs the worst is normally the least conscientious, most scatterbrained person, and you're going to be turning up in like his mum's dress or something. Like if you leave it to him.
Yes.
Yeah, like this is what in amateur football, just make the most responsible person the captain. Like not the best player, just the person you could trust the most to just make sure everyone's dressed and on time.
That's me. That's why I deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but have you ever had to wash like kits?
That's my job. I do wash the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do you
wash
use
the
a
kit every
fabric
week.
softener?
Of course.
A little bit sometimes. It takes me 2 loads. I've got quite a big washing machine. It takes me 2 loads to do, but sometimes it clogs up my washing machine, and I get a big E button, which means filter. Empty the filter, and I find all this rubbish like mud and coins and whatever. I don't know what they put in the kit bag, but yeah. But it's my responsibility, and we did try some other order, but a lot of guys don't drive, so you can't expect them to walk home with this massive old kit bag, which is really heavy and soggy once it's wet, you know. So yeah, it's my responsibility. I just take charge of that. And when I really think about it, this is the thing: it costs. If I took it to a laundrette, probably cost me about 30-40 quid.
Okay. We got Tyrone in the house. He's saying Saliba is the best centre back in the world. I think. I don't know about that. And we got Elite Boiler. Elite Boiler. We've got an elite baller in the chat. I haven't seen you for a while, my friend. I hope that you are doing well. Great advert for Persil. Yabba's been trying to get sponsored by Tiger Beer and Persil in the last couple of weeks.
Well, I would like to get sponsored by a washing powder outfit, but our team doesn't keep clean sheets.
I'll just let it hang there for a bit. Like the laundry.
Oh dear. Why do you leave it hanging there? It's like, what do you call them? Tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
Want to hear the wind? Should open a window and let that
God.
Storm Ashley do that wind sound.
All right. Should we have a look at the non-news for today?
Yes.
All right. I've got a little bit of stuff on the Delict injury that we had at the weekend. So as you know, Delict basically put his head down and ran into someone's knee, it was a very strange challenge to make. But apparently, because the position of the cut was in an awkward place, they basically tried to put a load of jelly on it, which I assume would have been Vaseline or something. Ten Hag got a bit angry, saying that it wasn't gushing. The viscosity of the blood was dry. All the players were livid, and then Darren Fletcher lost it in the tunnel. And we know that Ruud got yellow carded in the tunnel as well. But I think people are making a bit too much of De Ligt's heroics, as it were. Like he got a cut on the head and was off the pitch, and we completely forgot how to defend corners. I don't think that there's anything good about this situation.
Yeah, it's a bit of a calamity, the whole thing. And Mr. B was going to give us a roundup of Brentford, and I'm sure this would be part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Leading the first goal. So over to you, Mr. B. This is a major highlight of the first half.
No, listen, look, with the Delict injury, I know a lot of players, I don't know a lot of players. I've seen a lot of players who maybe with a little bit of blood would not come on. I understand why he wasn't on. And it was one of those things. I just feel that he was off the pitch. As Bath Time said, you need to take responsibility for certain things. And I don't think the players took responsibility. Now, the fact that they all decided to get mad, if that is what they need to do before the next game and the next game and the next game, then have a fight in the changing room before the game so everybody's pissed off so they can all come out crazy, because that second half, I haven't seen I haven't seen us play like that. I was at the edge of my seat. I was jumping up and down. I was excited to see us play. And to be fair, I haven't had that all season. You know, we've got Fenerbahce this week. So I said, I'm going to live on this one. I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah. I'm actually going to enjoy it. I watch Match of the Day. I don't watch Match of the Day. I watch Match of the Day twice.
Yeah, you get up on Sunday for it.
Yeah. I never had anything else to do. You know, we won a game. It doesn't happen very often. So I'm not going to sit here thinking, blase, it was only Brentford. No, because there was people who thought that we would lose. You know, I didn't think that we were going to win the game. I thought a draw would have been, not saying the best we could have got. So I'm delighted with a 2-1. However it came, the fact that Hoyland scored a beautiful goal. Absolutely beautiful goal. We always say that he blasts it. You know, it was nice that he got his head and dinked it. You know, it was a proper bloody goal. You know, and then the ball from Rashford, played on the right.
Wow.
I mean, he's hit two great balls this season. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know he had that in his locker, you know. And then Garnacho, he was the biggest pain in the arse that game. You know, that left back is, or now even when he's wiping his arse, he's still looking for Garnacho running around him. You know what I mean? So I was really
So
happy
erratic.
you know, he's 20 years old. I think we need to remember. I understand certain players at 20 years old are a lot more disciplined and have a lot more finesse in front of goal, but there's a lot of 20-year-olds who aren't going to be running around for the whole 90 minutes like a madman, not giving his left back any time at all. So I was really happy with the second half. The first half performance, oh Jesus Christ, I don't get it. But look, if that was the switch that ignites what they need to be doing, then fine. You know, they were talking about a couple of. I got to ask you, Bath Time. I know you're the tactical guy. They were talking about Rashford playing in a slightly narrower position. Did you notice that in the game? Was that something that you saw?
Yeah, because I've actually got this, which I don't know if you can see, but the red bits are where you create most of your chances from as a team. And we always talk about zone 14 and half spaces. And if you look at pretty much every team, the majority, exactly, apart from us. And what was driving me crazy in that game was that we were giving it wide to Garnacho, who I think is, I like Garnacho. I think he's a good player, but I think he needs to develop a finish that he can trust. Because when he gets the ball, he doesn't really, you never get any sense that he knows what he's doing. Like he'll cut inside, then he'll
like
go
Martial.
outside. What do you mean, like Martial?
He had a finish that he could trust. Yes. You know, that one where he ran in and curled it round. You knew once he set himself, it was in. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Even Rasmus, actually, he likes that chip finish. Like that's his kind of, I call them comfort finishes. But what was driving me crazy in that game is that none of our chances were coming from half spaces or where you expect to see it in like Premier League football. And that Rashford cross came from a half space. And it was beautiful. And in the second half, I felt that Eriksen and Casemiro were using their experience to kind of see us through that game. We weren't getting cut through down the centre at all. Like that was a big thing. And Rashford was getting into half spaces. And that's where the goals were coming from.
Do you think that was down to Bruno probably playing slightly deeper as well in game?
Yeah, I think that I actually think that Bruno did all right in the first half because Casemiro and Eriksen are not particularly mobile and they're not very good at receiving the ball with their under pressure with their back to goal. And I felt that in the first half, what was happening was Bruno was dropping in and then just playing a simple pass out wide to get us through the press, as it were, and I felt that with Bruno being so deep, we lacked someone in that zone 14, like someone to kind of like apply the final finish. And so what Ten Hag did, or what the players did, is that Rashford came much more inside to be that creator, and then Dalot pushed on essentially more as a sort of right winger. And I felt, and I don't say this very often, I think that's the first time I've seen Ten Hag kind of adapt the team at half time and actually be a really positive change. So I was impressed with I was really impressed, Mr. B, with the second half, because we came in, we scored early, we turned it around, we controlled the game, we made a couple of chances, we didn't look like we were going to concede, and it's a performance that I've been craving for a very long time. So I was really happy with the second half and the reaction to it. When I almost started crying when they scored, I couldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? It was the most obvious goal ever.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what we like. But we can't have everything. We got the 3 points. Maybe the next game we'll cut out the obvious one. To be fair, I am really looking forward to the Fenerbahce game.
I'm not. Ugarte, Casemiro, Ericsson up against Fred and Amrabat. Oh.
Why is it no Bruno? Well, look. We I mean, somebody in here is talking about a Casemiro injury. If somebody can have a look at that to confirm or deny. But listen, the fact that Bruno's not playing, I think in a weird way is good for us. We've been wanting to see it for a little while. So let's see if these players can stand up and be counted. You know, I'll take Ugarte and Casemiro. Casemiro played all right. Yeah, it's just not sure that he's going to be able to give us that level of performance twice in a week.
Well, I mean, when you look at Ugarte, Mr. B, if Casemiro hadn't have picked up that injury, that would have been the third game in a row that he was an unused substitute. I'm worried about what Fred and Amrabat are going to do to him, because if Fred and Amrabat have good games,
Fred. Yeah, just look. I know
if they have good games, what's happening.
I'm not showing no respect to Fenerbahce. I know we've only won one game, and I'm not speaking like Johnny Big.
We're 22nd in the group.
What did you say?
We're 22nd in the group. In the league, we're 22nd.
Look, it's too early to be looking at. Are we really 22nd?
Yeah. Yeah. Right at the bottom, we've got 2 points.
Do you know what? I'm just going to shut my mouth. I'm not saying nothing. All
right. Andrew is saying once again, United are whining about nothing this weekend. Bilal and Simon, who's apparently is an ex-nurse, are saying that look, head injuries are the rules. And we've got Emma Kay in the house, and she's talking about Darren. I don't know who Darren is. Has someone scored in the Premier League game tonight?
Oh, somebody has, yeah. For Crystal Palace, so she's talking about Darren Fletcher getting causing chaos.
I like that. Andrew is saying, why is it only things like that motivate us? I mean, last season, the two biggest motivators we saw were a Netflix documentary and a bed sheet. So now we can add De Ligt being off as one of them. And we stuff about Ericsson. The football brain is Ericsson. Ericsson was awesome. That chip finish is something I've seen Rude do many times for United. Martial used to have a little chip finish in him. I remember one against Norwich I really enjoyed. We got a double A. Fred, Amrabat, Dzeko, Tadic, St. Maximum. Oh, we got a chance if Alan St. Maximum was playing. Dreadful.
Is he over there? He did 1 year in Saudi, right?
Yeah, I thought he was in Saudi, but no idea. Emma isn't looking forward to any games at the moment. Simon's starting Ugarte and Ericsson.
And who else?
I don't know. Just those two. Maybe Nana gets in. I quite like this. Framrabat. That's what Fred and Amrabat is.
I'll keep. I didn't know we were 22nd. I'll keep my powder dry for that one for now.
Look at this. I'm surprised you don't rate St. Maximum. St. Maximum is one of the worst footballers that has been in the Premier League for years. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful player. He'll probably score against us. Right, Yabba. 2008, UEFA Cup final, Rangers versus Zenit St. Petersgrad or someone. They absolutely destroyed Manchester. Absolutely. I mean, it looked like Lord of the Rings out there. They took over 200,000 fans, and we're playing them in January, I think, and preparations have started to stop this invasion. You looking forward to this game? Are you worried?
Not worried. I actually watched them on the weekend. They lost.
Kilmarnock.
Yeah, they lost to Kilmarnock. It was really poor got a lot of. They don't look like a Rangers of old. I think it's really difficult for them to sort of compete, not in Scotland, but just compete, as in do something in Europe. They just haven't got the squad, they haven't got the players, and if you're picking sort of these players, that I've never heard of before, got a bit of talent, but just clearly not good enough. And I think it's a graveyard, the Scottish League right now. It's not a good place to go. If you end up there, you're probably at the start of your career, or you probably and someone is not really going to go very far. Look at the players they've had over the years from the 70s and 80s. Some fantastic players came down to England to play. And then we had the Henrik Larssons, and obviously when the Heysel Stadium banned English clubs from Europe, a lot of players went up to Rangers and played for them. Trevor Stephen, Gary Stephen, Mark Haitley, so they had their pick of English players. But what I watched against Kilmarnock the other day, they're really poor, and they're off the pace, and they really need to fix up. But I think it'll be a good win for us. But it's like a battle of Britain, isn't it? Do you remember Leeds against Rangers?
Yes. 3 years ago? Is that 91?
Once Leeds won the league, I think 92. That happened. That was a massive game and a competitive game at the time, So I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think we are levels above them, or most teams in the Premiership would be. Even though they got to a final a couple of years ago, they just didn't look at the races. And regarding this Battle of Britain Part 2, with the fans coming down and maybe doing a repeat of that, I just think it's down to security to sort of stop that from happening. They need to put things in place early so there's no surprises. You know what to expect. Make sure you up the council tax and get increased. No, you need to honestly. There's no surprise. You can't be surprised by this. It's likely that happen again. They probably.
Well, I mean, Galatasaray took over the stadium and the pinch flags and things last year. But it's good to see that United are getting ready to actually trying to get organised. And look, our least hard-working mod Steph has finally turned up. 40 minutes late, Stephanie. Outrageous. And Bilal, sorry, I am Titanium. He's always gone on about this. He absolutely hates Rangers. I've noticed over the years he brings up this night a lot because that picture there on the left, I think that's Albert Square. That's not Piccadilly Gardens, but a TV went down in Piccadilly and it just turned into absolute chaos. Like, look at that riot police on the streets. Absolutely wild. Right. Another story is that Lenny Yoro. Sorry, Mr. B. I don't want to bring back bad memories of your neighbour. Lenny Yoro is back on the grass, but he's quite a long way. He's quite a long way away from coming back. I'm a little bit disappointed with his announcement video because I think it's completely over the top to announce that he's training with a voiceover from Rio Ferdinand. Like, just get yourself fit and get on the pitch. You don't need to be making videos. Mr. B, what do you think?
He's got a following. It's a whole different generation now. Bath time. He wants them to understand that, he's back in training, and then they'll tweet and TikTok it and do it. We're not of that generation, and it took me 50 or nearly 49 years to work out how to go on YouTube. So it's that generation. I just think it's that generation. That's what they do. Me personally, I agree with you. Until you're playing and playing regular, shut your mouth. But obviously, he's got to put it out there so that his followers and he's I don't know what you would call these people, Yoroites or whatever.
The Yoroites.
Yeah, that's the one, Yoroites. That he's out there and he'll be back soon.
Having said that, we've noticed that you've updated your profile picture recently. Like, looks like a sort of model photo. What's all that about?
Listen, a little bit of AI helped. I'm not gonna lie. It took all the wrinkles away, and it made my arms a lot bigger as well. To be fair. But yeah, I'll be rolling with that one for a little while. It is my face, so it's not like I've made that up. You know what I mean? Anything. It is my face. It's just that it's been artificially touched up, should we say?
Good. That's the best way to be touched, in my experience. And a shout out to Canny or Overhead Kick TV. Wagwan to everyone. Oh, I always feel silly saying stuff like that. Good, good to hear that Yoro is back on the grass. If you ever want to come on, Canny, send me a message. He's a regular on Pappy's channel, and he's a good lad. And you can see Steph is bringing him up. We've got Simon saying Lenny Henry's too old to play. He's about my age. He used to live next door to Mr. B. Mr. B hates him. And we've got Steph with a joke. Wasn't Lenny in Motorhead? Oops, Lemmy. I don't get that one. Motorhead's a band.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the guys in the band.
I don't know who Motorhead is, so.
There we go. V wishes Rio Ferdinand disappeared after finishing football. Well, I tell you what, have you seen the pictures of what Rio got up to at the weekend? It is a bit cringe.
Oh, with all, well, it wasn't just him. Vidic was there as well. Berbatov was there as well, and Park. So, you can't just say Rio was cringe. Listen, these people got nothing to do, man.
What do you think? What you think Vidic is like? Do you know what, lads? Let's go to Seoul and dress up in kimonos or whatever it is.
Yeah,
That's
but they were over there for a friend.
Rio.
Yeah, but they were over there for a friendly. They have to promote it. If they went out there in their jeans and their expensive trainers, no, they wouldn't have got. They wouldn't have got no press. They all wore. What I was gonna say kimonos. Is that the right word? Or is
I think that's Japanese.
Version? Oh well, there you go. Sorry, I'm ignorant to that. But they were still wearing the traditional dress. So fair play to him, man. I thought it was cool.
All right. Well, one thing Berber said that I did quite like, I haven't watched it, it was just on the thumbnail, is that he's quite impressed with Rasmus Højlund. He says he's got the hunger. But that's something that I think we brought up at the weekend, was that, like, Højlund does look like he's after goals now.
Yeah, but certainly. I mean, look, we need to find some positives. We did at the weekend with the goal from Højlund. It was a really good goal. And we had Xerxes come in. People he's had to deceive so far, according to a lot of fans. And then we got this guy Direct, who's banged in 2 goals now, and everyone's over the moon, No, but the goal was really good. His work rate was good, and it's about aggression and having that attitude to go out there and really want to sort of wear the shirt with pride and give it 110%. As long as you're doing that, fans will really get behind you. In contrast, when you see Xerxes, it doesn't get like Martial. He's got that the way he walks around the pitch, the way his expression is. People assume that he's not giving 110%. So it's a complete contrast, complete opposite to what Højlund is doing right now. So wish him all the best. He's going to be playing, I reckon, starting the big matches based on his form. And when you got 2
Rasmus,
strikers, Rasmus. And when you got 2 strikers varied out for a position, they have to sort of be competing against each other to show the fans and the management, most importantly, that they've got something about them. And if Højlund is winning right now, it's mainly to do with them appearing to be given more effort on the pitch.
Sorry, question. They're 2 completely different strikers. Yeah. We played 2 completely different systems when they play. How can it be that Xerxes is fighting with, not saying fighting with Højlund fairly, but he doesn't. If we had 2 players of the same mold, then I could understand you saying them fighting for position. Xerxes never going to get in the positions that Højlund gets into.
I think I hear what you're saying. They're definitely 2 different types of player. But if Xerxes was performing, in the way he plays to that level, then he'd probably keep Højlund at the side. I think.
When nobody else was scoring.
Yeah, but if he's but he wasn't performing at the level that we signed him for. He's still got a long way to go. Højlund's got the advantage of being there a year before and more experience in the Prem, and he scored a few goals and he got used to it. So I think give Xerxes some more time to develop and he will have his time to shine. He might go on a run like Højlund did last season where he goes 6-7 games scoring or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not really what you were asked, is it, Yabba? Is that, like, when we play Højlund and when we play Xerxes, we have to use 2 different systems. Yeah. So it's we don't.
We don't. No, I don't think it's two different systems. Same thing. You've got one guy playing down the middle, tends to be either Xerxes or Haaland, and you want them to do the basics, which is hold up the ball, run in behind. These are things.
But this is my point. Xerxes doesn't run in behind. You see, with Haaland, he's a ball carrier. So if he picks up the ball and runs towards maybe the left, that you can go centrally. Xerxes is going to be looking for the pass. This is what I'm saying about them being different types of striker, and this is what I'm saying about it having to be a system change when he plays.
I don't think it's a system change. I think the players will adapt to knowing. If I've got the ball and I look up, I know, all right, Xerxes could be looking feet, and then we can work around that. Or he'd be looking for the ball to feet. But if I was Haaland there, you could think, all right, he's looking to play it into that area where he can hold. What he does really well, I've seen him do a lot, is sort of roll a guy, hold him off.
Oh, he doesn't do it well. He doesn't do it well.
He did it right second half.
That's one of his strengths. You see him do that a lot. He wants you to play it into an area where he can turn and roll the guy and sprint onto it.
Who is this? Who are you talking about?
Haaland.
Rasmus. So if as a player, I think I don't think system changes so much. I just think the players look up who you're going to pass to, what sort of ball they want. They want different. They enjoy different types of things. But saying that, Haaland or Rasmus Haaland was holding the ball up pretty decent compared to what we've seen the whole season, last season. So hopefully he can develop. He's coming into a complete striker. Hopefully he can develop his game. I remember when Andy Cole, when he arrived, he was getting fed from Peter Beardsley at Newcastle. That's why he scored a world of goals. But when he came to Man United, he said he had to develop his game. His hold-up play became really good. Something he never really worked on before. He really worked on his game.
Do you know he only got caught offside 24 times?
Amazing. Yeah, I heard that recently. Crazy, isn't it? I mean...
Well, Andy Cole, I was only offside 24 times.
Yeah.
Caught offside 24 times, bruv.
Well, I thought that was one thing that was really good about Rasmus's goal, actually, at the weekend. I bet you last season he'd have been offside.
The runs.
Yeah, he's also working harder to get back onside. And I have to disagree with you vehemently there, Yabba. Yeah. There is a massive system change between Rasmus and Xerxes. We even talked about it. Bruno is far deeper when Rasmus plays, because Rasmus's job is to stretch the pitch vertically. With Xerxes, we need players around Xerxes. So Bruno is much, much further forward. And even actually Casemiro, even good one, Steph. She's back. Even Casemiro is further forward. You need more players around Xerxes than you do around Haaland. And I think that one of the reasons that we got cut through quite a lot last year was because Bruno was so far up the pitch, like trying to be around Rasmus Haaland.
Could I make us, both of you, do you think that obviously with Rashford playing narrower, do you think, and him playing kind of more central, do you feel that then Xerxes could maybe play with Marcus in the same sort of formation, and Marcus would be the Rasmus runner?
Yeah, I think that is like, so with Xerxes, he's a table merchant is basically what he is. So think of someone like Benzema, where he's going to start off like occupying two centre backs, and then he's going to drop and try and combine, and people are going to run on past him. And those people you would think would be Garnacho, Bruno, and Rashford. But this season, Rashford, I always say this, not his biggest fan, but I tell you what, he's really impressing me this season in terms of like how well he's playing behind the ball. Like you're seeing a lot of really top quality passes. Like Yabba said something earlier about we haven't seen that pass before, where hit the cross to Garnacho for Kobe's goal in the FA Cup final. Rashford hits the most outrageous pass to Garnacho. And I think that we might be seeing an evolution of Rashford this year, of him being between the lines is where he's most effective now. And unfortunately, if he's between the lines, you've got to really be looking at Rasmus Garnacho Rashford as being the best combination that we have at the moment. Because when Xerxes plays, the wide players are much deeper, like in the build-up, and you can see that there aren't goals in the team when Xerxes is playing, but there does appear to be when Rasmus is playing, from what we've seen in the last 2 games.
Well, the main thing is they're very different, and it does give you more options to say, it's like they're definitely not like for like. And if you're a defender and you play half against Xerxes and you got half against Holland, you have to adapt to make that change. So yeah, I think at first they were talking. I know they're going to talk about some transfer news about another striker we may be interested in. And you'd think, why are we looking for another striker? We've got 2 already, but it's quite possible. We might be looking for another one on top of this, who might be even different to the pair of them. But we have to wait and see.
All right. Well, Johnny is saying that Xerxes should be playing in Bruno's position. Bruno's offered nothing of value for Manchester United this season, despite his assist at the weekend. Højlund, 1 half-decent performance in 6 months. Let's hold up. He's got 2 goals in 2 games, Andrew. That's pretty good for us. Got Steph 24 times in 1 game. Impressive. I like that one a lot. Cammy is saying that's incredible. Only 24 times Steph in 1 game. Even Inzaghi couldn't do that, and he was born offside. How would Inzaghi do in the world of VAR, do you think?
I think he'd kill it. They'll still wet himself. He wouldn't change the way he played. He wouldn't change the way. He would still get his. When you've got a forward the thing is, as much as he's that one time when he's not offside might be the chance. So you have to go with him. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he'll still be causing chaos.
Did you like him as a player?
Yeah. He was a pest. I like pests. His style. He had his own style. And if you didn't hold him, he was gone, and he was in. He was a good finisher when he was in. It wasn't like he got in and missed. So yeah, I liked Inzaghi.
I never liked him so much because there's so many great strikers around that time. But with age, I've learned to appreciate what he was.
Yeah, he was just a goal scorer, innit? Like I remember reading an interview. I think it might have been from Pirlo, who said that when they first played with Inzaghi, they'd never seen a worse footballer. Couldn't control the ball, he couldn't dribble, he couldn't pass, he couldn't do anything, and he always ended up with about 7 goals in training, and they just didn't really understand why. And I'd love an Inzaghi in our team, like even a little Chicharito, just someone in the box just to get their toe on things. And Andrew is having an argument about Andy Cole, which is, I
won't go. Everybody has their opinions. I will not get involved in any Andy Cole slander. I will leave Andrew to rant to whoever he's ranting to, and I will leave it to him.
Well, Andrew put up some stats, but remember, like Mr. B said, he was about data for Andy Cole. He only took 1 penalty. He's comparing it to Kane and Shearer, who took abundance of penalties as well. So when you look at that goal record there, 441 games, that's nearly 1 in 2. And you have to consider he didn't take penalties either. So the other goal guys, who Shearer and Kane, you factor in their penalties.
And factor in the fact he's a treble winner and was a massive part of that treble.
Yeah.
I'm not having any of that. Andy Cole's one of the most underrated strikers Premier League's ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, is he 4th in the all-time top scorers list?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Look, everybody has opinions. That's the beauty of football.
Yeah. We got 16 likes. And Stuart's popped back in saying Rasmus stays fit. It could be something. Do you know what? I think that Rasmus has improved from what I've seen in the last 2 games. I'm excited to see how we get on against Fenerbahce. We've done an hour, and since there might not be any news tomorrow, I'm going to save the 3 ridiculous stories that I found because they're just absolute non. I'll show you them.
Get him. Do him.
Right.
We'll always have something to talk about.
All right. Alphonso Davies, who most people believe is going to go to Real Madrid, is linked as a left back for United. This one is less ridiculous about Anthony to go on loan in January, but the ridiculous thing is that his top destination is believed to be Ajax, and what an embarrassment that is to sign a player for 80 million and then send him back on loan 2 years later. Unbelievable. And then, but this one's for you. Coming out of Italy, where Xerxes used to play, it is being reported that if we can get Benjamin Sesko, we're going to send Xerxes on loan to Juve. Which one is the most ridiculous of these stories?
Like you said, I think that Alphonso Davies coming to Man United at this time, if it was under Fergie era, that would be in contention, but we're competing with maybe Real Madrid. And I don't think he would even consider us. Why would he want to come to us right now when he can go to sunny Spain? There's the Xerxes one. I heard Paolo Di Canio talking up the other day, talking about Juve should sign Xerxes because Man United don't know how to use him, and he would smash over there. Obviously, he's seen a season with Xerxes at his former club and how effective he could be. And he reckons at Juve he would be a dream player for them. So Xerxes been underutilized, according to Paolo Di Canio at Man United. And then obviously Cisco, player that we've covered for years on
Cisco.
Yeah. Bong, 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 bong. Benjamin Sesko. He's developing now. He's always been highly touted. Talk about his goal record not being good enough a couple of seasons ago. That was the main sticking point. But he's tall. He's playing at a high level in Germany, playing Champions League football. And he's looks like a player that could be on the market very soon for the next step up. I think we should still keep Xerxes if he does arrive. But yeah, let's see with Sesko what happens with him. But all these players that we're mentioning, I just don't see like players of the past. I don't think they're at the level. There's been a lot of argument lately about the quality of players that we had in the 80s and 90s compared to today, and especially in the striker department. I can think of 23-year-old strikers back in the 90s. Just think about the players that played back then: Crespo, Batistuta, Ronaldo, Inzaghi, Adriano, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Andy Cole. And here's one I'm going to talk about. Want to mention to you guys. When we won the treble in 1999, who was the top goal scorer in the Champions League? Who was the most assist maker in the Champions League? Who was top goal scorer in the Premier League? And who didn't get a Ballon d'Or that year and should have been nominated at least for a Ballon d'Or?
I want to take it as a Man United player, yeah?
Yep. So most goals in the Champions League, most assists in the Champions League, top goal scorer in the league, Dwight
York. York.
That one season, people saying like, they remember when David Beckham missed out, or Henry should have got an award when Nedved won it. People saying 1999, maybe Dwight
York weren't getting it, man. He was out there clapping Jordan, boy. He weren't getting nothing, bro.
That's the person, not the country. Very important. Well, do you know who won? I think David Ginola won the PFA Player of the Year the year that we won the treble.
Yeah.
God, Dwight York's Ballon d'Or. That's not a bad shout, is it? I suppose it's his international career that holds him back.
Well, when people talk about Ballon d'Ors and they're always saying what you have won that year and what impact you've had. And I think just saying that winning the Champions League, being top goal scorer, look at those great goals he scored in the Champions League as well, the headers and the link-up play with Dwight, Andy Cole, being fantastic in the Premier League as well, winning the treble. I think these are ticking boxes, which should have been put him up there as a high nominee.
Can I say something with this Xerxes thing though? Sorry, I know I'm gonna forget. There's no way they spent this much money on a player who they have no plan for. They had to have planned with him being in the team with Hoyland. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why we would be letting him go. I don't get it.
We weren't.
Well, I agree. I mean, like, I think one of the things that is interesting about what Yabba's saying is that all those strikers you were talking about played in a two, and we don't really see, like, apart from maybe Inter Milan, you don't see too many two striker systems anymore at the top level of the game. But I think that when I look at all of these studies, they do. I think they're all bollocks, to be honest.
Yeah, all of them.
Like, I mean, I don't doubt that United will be looking at Alphonso Davies on a free and making contact with his agent. I just can't see that deal happening. I don't doubt that United are looking to offload Anthony. But I think that with the Xerxes story, what it's about is that our forwards aren't very good in terms of Erasmus and Xerxes. They're not going to... I don't think that they're like at sort of Champions League top 4, top 6 level for the Premier League at the moment. Rasmus can maybe develop. Xerxes at 23, like, you'd expect him to be pretty much there, wouldn't you?
No, I know a couple of years maybe. My issue with Xerxes is people keep talking about the 9.5. Don't take them piss. You either play him as a 10 or there's no 9.5s in football. You know what I mean? You either play him as a 10 or you play him as a 9. You know, I'm saying, given the opportunity as a 10, he comes deep enough, he works hard enough. You know, I mean, all right, he's not going to press like Bruno, but it would be interesting to see if they could dovetail. You know what I mean?
It's where he comes onto the ball, though. Like, as the 9.5 or the false 9, he's receiving it with his back to goal. As a 10, you're coming onto the ball. They're like different qualities.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's something you could teach him, but I suppose it's not at 23 when you really want it done now.
Well, you bought him for a reason, and the reason is to get him on the ball with his back to goal, bringing players in.
Right.
And I just think that this system is, you've got to commit to it, right? You can't, like, if you want to play this system, you've got to look at Bruno, Mount, maybe Ahmad as the replacements for Xerxes, not Rasmus, because you've got to keep playing. You've got to keep playing that system. And I think at the moment that, like, the kind of future of our club is basically dependent on which player plays better, because then the system that gets them in is the one we go forward with.
Keep it, yeah.
And I think that's terrible planning. I think that is terrible planning. The same way that not getting a left back or a proper CDM, I think, was terrible planning.
Well, they've got a proper one. He just might not be good enough.
Who?
Ugarte. They bought one.
He's not.
Yeah,
as a 6.
Do you don't think he's a CC? You think they spent all this money on a player who's not a 6?
Yeah.
And they're gonna.
He's box to box at most.
He's a 6, man.
A 6.
I'm not into all this 6, 7, 8. I'm not into that. But he's a guy who does what's on the label. He intercepts the ball. He's just pops it over and ticks it over for the other guys to start playing. That's what he does really well. So if you're saying box to box, I don't even think he's got the legs to get up and down like that. I just think he's a guy who's going to sit there and be that last man in midfield to say, "Come, I'm going to pinch the ball off you and start playing." But we still got to see. But there's this whole thing. Same as Xerxes. I mean, these rumours. You said wild rumours, no doubt about it. They are wild.
Yeah.
Say Xerxes will be leaving. I don't think so. I still think the boy's going to blow up at the club. This is why they're so highly touted in Italy, because they know that there's some player there. You know, so it's just about getting the best out of him. We need to sort of take our time, be patient, give it a season or so, and try to get the best out of this young man who's very talented.
Of course. I mean, like, every United player, to be honest, should get 18 months. Like, and at the end of that, like, so a season and a half. So basically, next Christmas is where, like, we can make our decisions, I think, on Xerxes with enough time and evidence. And we've kind of got to that point with Rasmus now, where he's nearly been here for 18 months. And I think it's just really poor from the club that we got 2 different strikers. We're not sure on what to play. They've cost us, 70 and 40 million. So they've cost 110 million. We don't know which ones to play. I'm really disappointed with what we're doing, where I wanted a system to be in place. And at the moment, I think we're just putting players out on the pitch that we can trust.
Well, the system is in place, as in transfer, not on the pitch, in transfers. I look back, we had Cavani, we had Ronaldo, we had Zlatan in recent years. And that was saying, let's get a ready-made player in their 30s who will come because they're to retire, they can get a good pay packet and come to Man United and will come. And it hasn't worked out. Cavani got injured, Ronaldo had a bad attitude, and Zlatan, as good as he was, got injured towards the end of the season and then left. So I think the policy, the strategy, the system, as in getting players that, all right, he's might blow up. Let's get him in. He plays for Atalanta. You can see he's got some potential. Let's get him in and try to develop him. That's the program we're going with.
Who are you talking to?
I'm turned to the side. I'm looking at dogs as well. Just keep an eye on the dogs.
What? They're on the ceiling.
Yeah,
they're on the windowsill.
Okay. Good.
I'm giving the finger because if one of them starts barking, they always look out the window, see something I don't see, start barking. So I'm just giving them, the eyes.
Just letting them know.
Yeah, just letting them know. That's right. That's control. That's dog control. But yeah, and one of them sleeping now. Bored with this show.
I've always wanted a live watch along of your dogs.
But yes, I'm quite content. And look, we got a big game against Fenerbahce. I was just looking at their side, the amount of good players or well-known players they have. They've got a lot of known players, and it's going to be really interesting. They'll be up for it. So that's going to be fire for us. If we can come through that will give us really good confidence.
When are we previewing the game? When are we previewing that? Is that tomorrow or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday. Okay. And just to settle things, there's a big debate going on in the chat. Andy Cole, right? Give him his flowers. The guy was class. And no matter what you say, you're comparing to Shearer, Drogba, Omri, all these guys. He's up there. Trust me, he's up there. And it's only like after he's retired, I'm starting to look now and say, Jesus Christ, I can't believe how good he was. And I knew at the time that he was good. And I did put a bit of shade on him, to be honest, because he was playing around Ruud van Nistelrooy and he couldn't get in. He had to leave and everything. But he was such a talent, such a great player. And when we look at the reason why I think he's so good today, because we're just talking about Rasmus and we're talking about Xerxes and how I would love for a young 23-year-old Andy Cole who's playing at Newcastle, banging them goals, to come into our club today. Then we soon find out, And another thing, I'm going to say it now, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Andy Cole was even better than him, right?
Well, who would you prefer to watch, Yabba? Bergkamp and Wright or Cole and York? Because you're a big fan of Bergkamp.
Cole and York, man.
It's got to be Cole and York.
Cole and York, man.
That's the most fun partnership. The only one that comes close for different reasons is Phillips and Quinn for me, because I like a big knock forward. That I always wanted to see for England, Andy Carroll and Theo Walcott up front. I don't know how you set a team up to deal with those two. Yeah. Because if you go deep, Walcott's going to run in behind, and if you go deep, Carroll's going to head everything, and if you go high, like Walcott's going to run in. But in terms of Premier League partnerships, like maybe you've got Shearer Sutton, Ferdinand Shearer.
Yeah, it wasn't exciting though.
York and Cole is levels.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something, like, I was just thinking, like, when you talk about partnerships, what makes a good partnership, it always seems like the big man, small man. You just mentioned Carroll and Walcott because he can get flick-ons and knock him in, play man in. That's interesting. But there was a really good partnership for Millwall with Tony Cascarino and Teddy Sheringham. If you go and look at the goals, he's
Teddy
destroyed the league. But you think about the way they play, they're not fast, but they would link up really well. They had that kind of like telepathic connection that Andy Cole and York had as well. So it's all about relationships. You need to have a good relationship with your strike partner, and they would be a nightmare to play against as well. But yeah, York and Cole, I think I've just edged them over Bergkamp and Wright.
They're the most fun like partnership in the Premier League like ever. I mean, Cantona might have got in a couple of them because he was like Cantona McClare or something was fun,
Hughes.
But Hughes, yeah. And then, but you just think about the Barcelona games, and that is cutting edge, exciting, off the cuff football between a maverick Dwight York and a really good facilitator striker in Andy Cole. Like everyone loved playing with Andy Cole. He's like a really high class Heskey in that way who could score.
I like that one, high class Heskey.
Heskey was a good player, but he just couldn't score.
He did his job.
like everyone loved playing with Emil Heskey. It'd be better than any of our strikers at the moment. I'll tell you that. He would.
Just two partnerships that I just want to give a shout out to.
All right, okay.
Before the 1998 World Cup in France, Romario, who won the 94 World Cup as top goal scorer and World Player of the Year, Ballon d'Or winner, he was fit and he's playing the whole season. Could they won the
Is this
World
with
Cup?
Edmundo?
No, I'm going to come on to that. So
Okay.
They were fit. So Romario's fit, and Brazil already qualified for the World Cup because they were winners. So during '97 year, when the tournoi, remember that tournament?
Mhm.
They went on a world tour and started playing everybody. And that season, you have to see Romario linking up with Ronaldo. That was outstanding. Their partnership. There's a goal they scored against Mexico. This game against Mexico, they played outstanding. They were just on fire. They clicked better than Bebeto and Romario. They were just on fire. And then obviously when Romario went to Brazil and played with Edmundo, they were just like amazing. We saw what they did to Man United. It's just like the link-up play. They just two players, and that's what I'm saying. It's the relationship that you have with your strike partner or any midfield partner. All you said about partnership. There's all these partnerships you have around the pitch, and when you have a relationship like that clicks, it's very special.
Mutu and Adriano was one that I used to like in the early 2000s. Do you remember them? Like they were pretty wild, those two. To be honest.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he was a beast.
Yeah,
that left foot man.
Oh,
Did he get like 5 goals against Real Madrid or something? I'm sure he played a match in Spain where he got like 5 goals. I'm trying to think of other decent Premier League partnerships, but I can't even remember when the last one was.
Well, Zola and Flo, they had a good partnership. Tall man, little man, Zola and
Johnson and Hasselbank.
Yeah, that was decent. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
See, the thing is, we'll always be going back maybe 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Drogba came in, and then everybody's kind of gone to this single striker type thing now. So, to give us something to do during the next international break, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Cole and York, the last partnership to win the league. Like, because Henri, he was mainly a sort of Henri and Anelka. I don't think they were really a partnership, were they?
Did Beckham play with Henri? Did Beckham play with Henri?
Yeah, he did, but
he didn't.
He must have.
No, he didn't. They sold Anelka after 1 or 2 seasons.
No, Bergkamp and Henri.
Bergkamp and Henri.
I thought you said Anelka and Henri. Yeah. Of course they played. Yeah, they played together.
Well, Bilal is saying that Andy Williams and Lucky Singh are the last title winning partnership. Here's a good one: Klinsmann and Voller.
Wow, that's a really good one.
All right, right to finish us off. I want each of you to give me the best partnership from any era in football. 2 players.
All right, I've got 2. I got Palais and Tostao in 1970. Absolutely outstanding. And the second one would be Van Basten and Bergkamp. Didn't play together that often. Like they were coming into, Van Basten was sort of 27 and Bergkamp was coming to the game. Talk about early 90s, 91, 92. And around that time, Van Basten still got Ballon d'Or. And they did play together in a few games. Imagine that, Bergkamp and Van Basten. Magic.
All right, Mr. B, you thinking?
I have no idea, bro. I could be here all day.
I'm gonna give a crazy one to Yabba. I'm gonna say Lechkov and Stoichkov.
The midfielder, though, isn't he?
The Bulgarians. Yeah, but he scored that lovely diving header.
Yeah, it doesn't make him a striker.
Yeah. I like El Piero and Trezeguet a lot.
Yeah, it's a really good one. That's really good.
But I think
with Rui Costa linking up for
I thought you'd say Kanichuk. Yeah, but I mean, it's 3, isn't it? The one I really want to go for is Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, and Ronaldo.
Those are 3s.
Yeah,
those are 3s.
Tevez, Rooney,
and Tevez, Rooney, and fuck off.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Hulk and Falcao.
Oh my God! Wow,
that is fun.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
Raúl and Morientes.
Yeah, effective.
Batistuta and Crespo.
No. They
Why
weren't.
no?
They weren't at Fiorentina. Crespo was never at Fiorentina.
Oh,
Ah,
we're allowed to dream.
a cultured man, Zamorano and Salah.
Chile, Inter.
Yes. And then, of course, we'll end with this one: Akin Fenwa and Shola Immobile. There were some great players in Serie A. Right, anyway, for a story with no news, we've done 120 minutes.
You did it right.
We've got Wolverine and Deadpool.
Sorry, so the Hulk.
Shevchenko and Crespo. Shevchenko and Rebrov were a good partnership as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Good shout.
But look, Weir and Baggio. I think that's a look.
Somebody said something about Baggio in an interview the other day. Said his knees are like a washing machine. I saw an interview the other day. You could, if you they showed it when you put your hand on his knees, you could do this with his kneecaps.
Is that because he's so
football.
Good, or just
just football? He's done. That's the
detriment of football.
That's the state that he's in now. Somebody said it was Pep. Pep said he would leave. He said he would leave. Yeah, he would work under Roberto Baggio. He would gladly work under Roberto Baggio.
Pep is just a dickhead, isn't it? Anyway.
Anyway, time to
right. Tomorrow we'll be back with no news. Wednesday we'll be back with a preview. Thursday is the watch along. Friday probably no shows. We're all out, aren't we?
Yes. No, Friday. I'm out this Friday. Am I out Friday?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, look, it's too far away. Look, to be fair, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. We'll work it out. All right.
Right, Lack a Notch time.
Lack a Notch.
That's the best partnership. Lack a Notch. Go on, say Lack a Notch.
Oh, sorry, Lack a Notch.